So my life, in a nutshell, the childhood is surviving as unseen child, as living with the parents that are emotionally unavailable, trying my best to be someone I'm not really. I don't even know who I was trying to be. I was trying to be my father. I mean, my brother. I was trying to be as my brother, trying to be not as sensitive, but yet at the same time I was this hyper vigilant child who's scanning the room to see how my mother's feeling, to see if she's upset or if I can make her feel better. At the same time, I try not to be too sensitive and not to show my real emotions if I'm upset with something. So I can get this attention. If my brother was a troublemaker, and I had to be this good girl, this proud pr- mother's mother would be proud of me, and it's everything kind of sort of transitions into this teenage years where I lost my father, and he was never really in the picture as well too. But it's still a important part because father figure I think is also um it's it's important piece of how we perceive life, how we perceive world. It's sort of a backbone. If you have a father figure that's a strong father who strong father figure who loves you, for especially for daughters, that I believe, who you can go back and just say dad, like, cry, and your father will hug you and say that you're the best. It sort of gives you this backbone of not actually trying too hard to earn love from, especially um from men. For me, it was not the case. My mom sort of didn't really install that um thoughts of that. I am this great person, but only if I act certain way I deserve her love, and that's where I started scripting my program, reprogramming myself, and have this script of unworthiness, that I'm was this unworthy child, that I don't deserve love, that I have to be someone else to be deserving of my mother's love. So even if my mother's is not really interested in my inner world, then I have to be quiet. I don't have to don't be seen, be just don't say anything, be silent, be quiet. So those are all the scripts that I wrote for myself, that don't take up space, that I was not really allowed to exist, and that's like a deep, 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 deep wound. Um, I guess my parents' mother wound, sort of that was sitting with me throughout my childhood and throughout my adult life, and teenage years. Teenage years were very confusing, very um sort of rebellious in a way. Not really knew who to listen. I had this little knowing in my heart that I want to, that I am this sensitive child, that I am sort of like still believe in like love, but I didn't really knew what love is. I didn't know what I was expecting, what I was looking for. That I didn't know who I was myself, because I was trying to be someone else so hard. Then going through adult life, just attracting wrong partners, just completely being blind to all the red flags, and going through all these toxic relationships, even ending up in a cult at some point. Because sometimes when the people are in a vulnerable position, especially after the toxic relationships, they seek some sort of a meaning, they seek some sort of a help, and a lot of times like they end up in this cult like organizations because of what they offer, because what we were looking for, what I was looking for some sort of meaning and support, something bigger than me. And I didn't know that I don't really need any mediators between myself and universe or God. A lot of times um that's what my kind of search in religion, and in this like dangerous waters. So yeah, the toxic relationships and all those um difficult memories, um where I was just, it was challenging because I had cheating partners who was abusive, emotionally abusive, sometimes physically abusive, it sometimes dangerous relationships, uh, and just nothing would work until I was like adulthood, in my adulthood. Only then I kind of start pondering on why everything is just kind of keep repeating, why there's a um nothing, why there's nothing for me. That I really try to connect back to myself, to my soul, to source, to God, and ask all the ponder on those questions and ask myself a lot of times, like I felt like God is guiding me, because a lot of dangerous situations, they like nothing bad happened to me in the dangerous situations where it could be, and I feel like it was really 100% a protection, like from God, because I did ask for help. I did, and it's only natural, like when we are in pain, when we are in maybe really bad situations, when we're in this dark place, if we can, and if we ask for help, like the help is going to be given to us. A lot of times I witnessed that. A lot of times I met the people that were just kind of like God sent, like people who would really be nice to me and show love in a way that I never really received from, even from my like loved ones, like my um my mom or my father, for example. So for me it was sort of coming back to myself. It was really going through these difficult relationships and hitting the rock bottom, so I can rise up and look at the life through with a new eyes, without those scripted glasses that tells me, oh, yeah, that I don't deserve love, this everything happened to me, it's I deserve this, basically I had to sort of get rid of everything that I didn't want in my life. And the only way I could have I done it, I sort of had to live through it and live and experience the bad side of relationships to truly understand that this is something that I don't want. This is not, this is doesn't feel like really unconditional love. This is not love. What I'm doing is not love. I didn't really knew what love was. And after that, I did had some time to ponder, but not. I don't think it was really enough. But some time to ponder about how 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 I saw the relationships, or how I couldn't. I was afraid to be alone. That I was afraid to be by myself. That I really always needed, like how I fell for the first person who showed a little bit of interest to me, for example, or how I fell for somebody who was unavailable or emotionally unavailable, and then lo and behold, I fell in love with my husband. We married, and he was exuding the same sort of like energy as my, probably like a familiarity, same thing with my I've been through my childhood. It's this unavailable, like he's not sure, like it's like I felt that he likes me, like, and I felt such a magnetic pull towards him, and I thought that this was just meant to be, this was love, like I felt like I knew him for a long time. But for in reality, maybe so, but and I do believe that what meant to be is meant to be. Like I'm not regretting marrying him. Like I love my husband. It's the pattern is just to lock me in this childhood, like that what I've been through in my childhood, in the loop, but not in a dangerous way, where right now I found myself married to emotional unavailable partner, married, uh, and have a children, and living in a different city, in a new city that I don't have much friends. Well, now I do have some friends now, but in a different country, away from my family, obviously. Now we moved after his parents, so in-laws are as well over here. So the dynamic that I'm living through is basically now it's repeating the pattern from my childhood that I thought I want to get rid of, that I thought that I'm done with, but it's come with full force and full cycle. And especially in this hardest moments of my motherhood, it shows up in full colors. It shows me the vulnerable, the sides of me, the deep sides of me, where which I was brushing off, that I suppressed, the feelings that I suppressed. Because my husband, he triggers a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of wounds that I hadn't been, I just brushed them off, I suppressed them, I didn't live them through. And I don't know, I don't know if it's a consequential or not, but I did start therapy about 6 or 7 months ago. I do feel like it helped me in a way that I had somebody to confide and somebody to really express my feelings without invalidation. Because a lot of times when I talk to my husband, especially, or my mom, a lot of times they are very like, they invalidate my experience, invalidate my feelings. They tell me that I shouldn't feel this way, that I should just get over it. Like, it's, there is some sort of like unspoken rule, like in this family and in my family, that feelings are, it's weakness. Feeling too much, it's not good for you. You have to just get over it. But then, funny thing, that no one knows how to really get over it. For me, living through experience, that's how you get over it. Like, you have to understand it through living it. Now the knowledge becomes lived knowledge only if you are living through it. So that's, you embody it. That means it's just anchored in your body. So for me, I really need to go through this rage periods of where I opened up and I start telling my husband everything I think about him, and telling my husband if he triggers me, and saying things out loud. Because before, with just a few years that of our marriage, I really was concentrated on raising our children, and it was the sleepless nights. There's this motherhood, the life, there was a teething and stuff, and there's, living with in-laws, and just there's a lot of suppression going on, that I didn't really say things that I wanted to say. I was just trying to be this nice girl that I didn't really want. I thought it was just being, saying things what you really think is being, rude or aggressive. Like, that's what I thought. For me, like, that's what, about 5 to 6 months ago, once I started therapy, I think I found my voice, and I start saying things out loud. I noticed that a lot of times that I was raging, a lot of times that it's just a lot of it. I did tell my husband that it's a lot of things, it doesn't really connect it, not everything connected to him. And I did apologize every time. If I did something, I apologize, and I'm sorry. I know it's not an excuse, but I'm working on myself. And at this point, it's subsided, and I feel like coming back to my power. Me being able to speak up, me being able to feel the things that I suppressed for a long time. Such a release. It's uh, it's very empowering, because I found in the core of me what was wrong, why I was in such a state, why I let myself to get to that point where I'm actually was in such a rage. So at this point of my life, I'm glad that I have this relationship, because this my husband, he's sort of plays the roles of like a catalysis, or like a threshold guardian, that are basically, he's not letting me through until I have this test within me, where I transform my rage into some sort of strength, into boundaries, where my boundaries doesn't come with aggression. My boundaries are embodied. My boundaries are like encoded in my life, where I am strong without being raging, uh where I know my worth without uh, and still soft. That's my next sort of um like leveling up, where I'm going, is where I can speak to my husband without raging at him, or where I can still hold my boundaries, but without being mean or aggressive, where I can know my power and then I don't have to seek validation or over explain myself or do things that I find are like go against me, for example, and then I don't have to be malicious or do something on purpose.